the great things is that Josh works with a lot of foreclosure properties, so he knows about the ones coming on the market early on and represents the banks in doing the foreclosure process and has done it for years. And what you see right now is, do you see more foreclosures happening now than in the past?
No. I currently am watching one property right now that is called the shadow inventory, and I mean, I used to watch 20, 30 of them. So no, there's nothing in the pipeline that says we're going to have more. The sheriff sales are down. I mean, there used to be posted in the paper 6, 7, 8 pages of them, and now, maybe there's a half a page. So they're just not there. They're not happening like people are waiting for.
Why do you think foreclosures are down as much as they are right now?
Just a lot of it's been the correction they did with the mortgages of getting rid of the no doc loans, the variable interest rates, things like that, where people are able to make their payments and not have to worry about it changing. Their budget was set, I can make this payment. So I think that's a lot of it. And we haven't had the influx in the economy to create, a huge amount of job loss.
Yeah, I think right now is what we're seeing is we don't have a lot of people forced to sell at all. There's really not. They have unemployment being as low as it is people have jobs. And another nice thing about, people that maybe would have potentially gone into foreclosure, they've been able to refinance their property into a really low interest rate. So even if they bought when it was a little bit expensive for them, they've been able to refi into a really low rate that's comfortable for them. As long as they can hold a job, they can typically hold their property. I think where we will see foreclosures in the future is if unemployment turns the other way. If we have high unemployment and people can't afford their home. But here's the other side of it too, of where we don't see a lot of foreclosures. People have a lot of equity in their home. Yes. So before that property goes to foreclosure, they have the opportunity to sell their home before it gets to that point and gain some of that equity that a lot of people don't realize. So right. You don't see a lot of those that were potentially going to go into foreclosure, or maybe were going to, they have the equity to be able to sell their home and access that before the bank takes it away from them.
Right.
So could you tell us a little bit about how the foreclosure process in Minnesota works?
So generally, once you start missing payments, I would say it's from 4 to 6 months, you will get a scheduled sheriff sale. So at the sheriff's sale, generally it's we'll call it the mortgage company, or their legal representative is there, and they technically bring a check for the foreclosure amount that they're foreclosing on. So if you owe $300,000, generally it's their $300,000. So anybody that sees the foreclosure advertised, they could show up at the sheriff's office as well and outbid the bank at that point in time. But with that, you buy it that day. You actually, the seller or the owner, we should say, still has a 6-month redemption period generally. Now there's a 5-week, a 6-month, and a 12-month, depending on the type of property you have.
What does a redemption period mean? What is that?
So that gives the owner, the person on title, the 6 months to try to redeem their property. By redeeming it is, try to get a mortgage, which most likely if you've missed payments, that's never going to happen. Find an investor to help them out, or, you sell the property. And with as much equity as you probably have in today's day and age, because of the last year and a half, 2 years, we've risen 20 to 30%, you should have some equity in there. So if you could sell your property, you all of a sudden, redeem it and you walk away. So if the sheriff buys it for $300, you sell for $400, let's say, you got $100,000 equity you as the owner in foreclosure could walk away with.
So let me give you an example. Let's say that I start missing my payments on my house, then it gets scheduled for a sheriff's sale. What options do I have, right? Let's say my house might be worth $400,000. My mortgage I still owe on it is $200,000. What's going to happen? What should I do?
At that point, your best option is either talk to your mortgage company to see if there's some sort of repayment program they could work out, which I've helped many people do that, as far as working with the mortgage company and them to get their payments resecured and property out of foreclosure. Or if you just say, hey, I don't want to be here, and I just want to take my equity and run, let's get your house on the market as soon as possible.
Let's say the bank bought it back at the mortgage amount was $200,000. I think it might be worth $400,000. Then the only way for me to be able to access that is I have to sell it before the redemption period is
redemption
over.
period is over.
If I don't sell it before that redemption period is over, if I call you a month beforehand and go, hey, I'm not going to be able to create a mortgage on this, what do I do?
One, you fire sale it to try to get a cash buyer or somebody that could close on your property within a short period of time. If you get past your redemption period, unfortunately, you're giving up your equity, and it's going to go to the bank, and the bank's going to sell the house not for what the foreclosure or the sheriff's sale amount was or what was owed on it. They're going to sell it for what market value is. So if market value is $400 and you owed $200, they just made $200,000 off from your equity. So that is, something to always realize. Talk to a professional to help get your equity figured out.